I get a lot of questions about when do I change the blade on the mill, and we change ours about every hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes. And the reason we do that is because if you think of the blade as if, a coat hanger, if that coat hanger is flexed in a spot multiple times, going around like that, it'll break in that spot. The hotter it gets, creates more friction and everything. Well, it's the same way around your blade wheels. If you run it for a long time and it makes that loop on the outer side, that's where you get your pressure at, and it's spinning. You run it, the longer you run it, the more it creates friction. Plus you've got pushback on the blade. You get these real minor cracks in the blade. So we have them sharpened, and ours will usually last 2 to 4 sharpenings. It depends on what we hit, basically how hard the wood is we're cutting and other things. But we run diesel fuel and either used automatic transmission fluid or used hydraulic fluid on our blades. I've been running this blade that's on here about an hour and a half, and I'll take you guys out and show you the blade, also show you what I'm talking about where it runs around. This is some of the stuff that we run our bands through. You can see, there's rock, mud, everything on there. So if you look at this over here, this is another thing that you want to look at too, is you want to make sure that you don't have too much on the outside or the inside. You want a little bit out of both sides. You can see the blade sticking out back here a little bit, and at the front you've got this little bit sticking out. You want your belt to ride directly in the center of your blade, and then over here you want to make sure you've got just a little bit at the front and a little bit at the front here. But as far as how long, if you run it an hour and a half and you look, you've got a straight run up here. So you don't get a lot of flex in that. You're mostly getting your flex in this part here and over here when it starts to make the turn. So the longer you run it in that turn, the more it can bend in there. And then also you'll have pressure here and here. Looks like my top eye ain't squirting very well. I'll have to clean that out. But if you think of it, like I said, as a coat hanger, and you know that you're getting bends in there, you run it for 2.5 hours, you're not going to get it where you get many sharpenings out of it and it's liable to break before then, because what you do is in this lip right here, you get little minor cracks in there. And when you get little cracks in there, what it does is it starts to let that flex out and it'll break. And so we run ours an hour and a half. Usually that's the maximum. And we usually run them at between 80 and 85 PSI, which tells you right here. And I usually want this bag to start with about 62 to 65 PSI. So it kind of stays between here and here the whole time. Also, you'll want to feel the back of your blade right here.
they come rounded. They're rounded off. If it's getting really flat back here, you're either running your blades really dull and they're pushing back against this really hard, and it's causing, you'll notice this will get thin real fast right here if you're pushing back too far. Like if you're running too far back on your blade wheels. So you can feel back here how much wear you're getting on the backside too. And if you're getting a lot of wear on your backside, if one breaks, you can tell which direction that it's breaking from. So if it breaks from the front or cracks from the front to the back, it'll be ripped through here, and you'll be able to see this cracked first. Same way from the back to the front. You should be getting cracks in your front and it breaking from your front and ripping the back if you're doing it correctly. Like you'll sharpen them 2 to 3 times and then it'll break from here back.